Hey there, Carnage Cravers. Welcome back to Carnage Corner. I am Ken Carnage. Thank you for joining me once again on Wednesday for NXT, as well as a overall WWE wrestling review. Look, we are opening up NXT with Heavy Machinery. I like these guys. They a throwback to the little bit of a throwback to the old school. Tag teams. You know, the Arns and the Tullys and the Zbyszkos. And they're taking on Sabatelli and Moss. Alright, so while Bland and Blander come out to take on Heavy Machinery, I can go ahead and start talking about Monday Night Raw. So Monday Night Raw opened with a Braun Strowman promo. Okay, so now I like Braun Strowman. And I won't even say that Braun Strowman is not good on a microphone. He can work a microphone just fine. Okay, especially to match his character. So, with that being said, I kind of felt like WWE should not have started having Braun do interviews and promos and whatnot, because it kind of takes away from the the killer monster kind of gimmick that they had going on with him. So I mean, I'm splitting hairs. I don't necessarily think that Braun Strowman should be doing full-blown promos. A line or something is fine, you know, like a couple of weeks ago when he told Heath Slater that he could get these hands. You know, he said one line, and you know, and it was perfect for the character. And having him say, you don't want him to say too much. You don't want a character like Braun Strowman to say too much. But he starts talking. He starts telling a story. He says, telling a story about the Royal Rumble where a beast and a machine met a monster. And Kurt Angle interrupts. And Dozovich is such a beast. He just plucked a 230 some odd pound man out of the freaking air. And here comes Knight. So, Kurt Angle comes out and he interrupts Strowman's promo. He comes into the ring and it made me laugh out loud. That's how good it was. Strowman looks at Kurt and goes, "I was telling them a story." But to make a long story short, Kurt Angle thought it was a bright idea to take a 7-foot tall, 385 pound monster that took out Kane and Brock Lesnar the week before. They thought it was a good idea to fire him on national television after he'd already had to, travel there and whatnot. Well, don't think Kurt thought that one through. Speaking from a character standpoint, obviously I know it's all written and whatnot, but from a character standpoint, the Kurt Angle character did not think that one through. So, Kurt fires Braun Strowman. And Braun is led by security to the exit door, and Braun just won't go. He attacks the security, and, okay, and I'm going to point this out for a second, okay? Dozovich doing the worm. I do not believe what I just saw. I agree with Nigel. Nigel said that's one of the most ridiculous things he'd ever seen. I agree. Alright, so... talk about the security for a moment. Now, obviously, if you're a wrestling fan, I'm sure you're aware that they don't use actual security when they do security. It's usually developmental talent or local talent. Oh, excuse me. It's not normally actual security professionals, and it shows. It shows in the way that the security guys carry themselves and what they do, you know. Let's put it like this. Alright. I work in the security field. Many times had to escort somebody off a premises. Security doesn't really... One thing security's not going to do is they're not going to be talking to Braun on his way out, on their way to the door. They're going to be saying as little to him as possible. They're just there to make sure he leaves. They're not there to hold a conversation. They're not there to piss him off by saying, you gotta leave. No, he was told he had to leave. I do not believe it. Sabatelli and Moss just beat Heavy Machinery. That is some bullshit. And that point about the security wouldn't be talking, it's really got nothing to do with Braun's size. I mean, if, Enzo Amore was getting led out of a building by security, they wouldn't be talking to him either. Okay? The only time something would get said to him is if he turned around and tried to get back in. So, it just, very apparent that it's not real security. But, that is what it is. Braun attacks the security because they're mouthy. And they pissed him off. And then he went looking for Kurt Angle. So, we then went to our very first match, which was The Bar versus Titus Worldwide. Which, of course, Titus Worldwide, that's Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews. And they have apparently added Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke with her new gimmick, which, it's just a copy of a gimmick that was done in WCW back in the day with Alexandra York. So it's, what's old is new and what's new is old, and there isn't an original thought in the world left, apparently. So, to make a long story short, The Bar versus Titus Worldwide. The Bar was doing themselves pretty well, and then Jason Jordan came out and provided a distraction, which led to Titus Worldwide picking up the win. Seth Rollins came out, and there was no microphone, so we can't hear what's being said, but from the body language, it was very apparent that Seth was giving Jordan some crap for coming out and distracting and, using those tactics. Which is kind of funny, because Rollins has never really had a problem with those tactics before, but hey, it is what it is. So then we go back to the backstage where Braun is searching for Angle. He trashes Angle's dressing room. Or office, whatever you want to call it. He completely trashes his office. He goes and he trashes catering. He puts Kurt Hawkins to a table, and again, WWE with their humor. Not often funny, but this was funny. Because he goes to leave, and there's this scrawny little guy standing there holding a chocolate cake on a plate, and a piece is already cut. So Braun picks up the piece and eats it and walks away. Which, you know, when you're Braun Strowman, you can have all the cake you want. It's, you know, nobody's going to tell you no. So, that being said, we then go back to the Kurt's office where he is, and he's talking about how he's going to have to call the cops, you know, because nobody can stop Braun Strowman. And then somebody tells him that Braun's going to the production truck. And Braun was indeed going to the production truck. He goes into the truck. He wants to shut down the show, but he doesn't know how any of the computers work. So, instead, he decides that he's going to disconnect the rig from the trailer. So he's got the truck part, not the trailer part. You know, in case you don't know what I mean when I say the rig. He disconnects it and he pulls it away and decides he starts trying to flip it over. And you know, Kurt catches up to him, and Kurt, you know, tries to stop him, and Kurt tells him, you know, I'm going to call the cops and this and that, to make a so Braun still flips over the truck. Now, how they have him flip over the truck is a matter of some debate, because, you know, I could believe it when Braun flipped the ambulance. Okay, I could believe it. Flipping the big rig, I mean, the big rig is quite a bit heavier than the ambulance. I'm not going to say it's not possible, because, you know, we have seen some amazing feats of strength out of guys like Mark Henry and Big Show, and, you know, Braun Strowman is definitely right up there with them, if not surpassing them in strength. We know this to be true. But I'm inclined to believe that he was helped somehow. It's just a question of how. I thought it through. I thought, it could have been a piston that helped to tip it, but we had a pretty good shot of under the truck as he was flipping it over. And we didn't see any piston. Could it have been something attached to the top so that it could be pulled from the other side? I thought about that too, and they gave us a shot of the top of the truck. I didn't see anything there. So I don't know how they pulled that one off. Probably won't ever know how they pulled that one off, which is fine. You know, a little bit of mystery isn't the end of the world, but in either case, he did flip over the tractor trailer, and he then goes out to the announce table area. And the announcers try and run for it, and Booker T subscribes to the I don't need to outrun the monster, I just need to outrun you philosophy, because he practically kicks Michael Cole's legs out from underneath him, causing Michael Cole to fall, and Braun catches Michael Cole. And Braun, and you know, on some level, you know, it sucks to be Michael Cole. Because, I mean, if you know your WWE history, Michael Cole has had to do some ridiculous things over the years. The incident with Heinrich comes to mind. I'm not going to elaborate, but if you're a WWE historian, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, just look up Michael Cole and Heinrich. Parental advisory warning. That being said, we're going to move on from there. So he grabs Michael Cole. Kurt comes out of the woodwork saying, Stephanie called me. She's rehired you. She's rehired you. You can stop. You're still in the title match. Yada, da, 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 da. And Braun still throws Michael Cole off the stage, and he's caught by the security. So, that's the last we see of Michael Cole that night, and Tom Phillips takes over. So, and then we go into Nia Jax versus Asuka. I was surprised when I saw this match slated for a Raw. In my mind, that's not a match you give away. That should be on a pay-per-view. Just my thought, because you got the undefeated streak of Asuka and the overwhelming power of Nia Jax. There's a great story you can tell there. And I kind of feel like they shot their wad early on this one, because it's why would you be doing this now? Why are you doing this now when you can build this? Should have had them clash at the Royal Rumble and build their story from there. So it just, I don't really, I was, skeptical, I think is the word I'm looking for, of why they would do that. And then we go into the match, and, I see what they're doing. I still think it would be better the other way. But, so they definitely played up Asuka's skill, as well as playing up Nia's power. Asuka locking in submission after submission after submission, because she cannot match power for power with Nia Jax. And then you had times when Nia just ragdolls Asuka, which, as it should be, with the size differential and everything else. I mean, nobody's disputing the fact that Nia is the biggest, strongest woman on the roster. So, the way the match ended, it's a little bit of a fugazi ending. Nia was walking up she had Asuka by the hair, walking up the steel steps. Asuka lands a kick on the back of one of Nia's legs, I believe it was the left leg, and Nia falls down and gets her leg caught between the steps and the ring post, and she falls down and starts selling a hurt knee, basically. Referee calls the match off. They do it so that Nia tries to stand up 3 times and just falls down, and so they award the match to Asuka because Nia can't continue, which, that's Asuka's winning streak continues, but now there's an asterisk. There's a question. If that hadn't happened, could she have beaten Nia? Which, it's what they should have done is, instead of giving a win to Asuka, they should have ended it as a no contest, is what they really should have done, because then if you really want to call question into it, there's your question. Nia not being able to continue is Nia not being able to continue. We could have done a double count out, somehow done a double disqualification. There were other ways to accomplish what you wanted to do that would have been better than what was done here. But, neither here nor there. Again, I'm splitting hairs. I'm being a little finicky and being a little I don't know, anal about it, as I tend to do sometimes. So.
What?
Oh. So then we go backstage to Kurt Angle in his office with Jason Jordan being annoying as hell. Jason Jordan is really, really annoying at this point. Yeah, I don't even want to, to the point where I don't even really want to, watch Jason Jordan, because all he does is, he makes me cringe every time he opens his mouth. So in either case, Jordan gets Kurt to give Seth a match with Finn Balor for that night. So we then go backstage to we go to the trainers area with where we see Nia and Alexa, and then the camera pulls out more and we realize that Enzo is there, and Alexa tries to kick Enzo out, and Nia tells Alexa to go, and so just goes to show you that some girls prefer to play with Muppets and Barbie dolls. So
Wow.
What? Enzo looks like a Muppet.
You just called what's her face a Barbie doll.
Well, she's a little short for a Barbie doll, but I mean, other than that, I mean, isn't Barbie supposed to be like, I don't know, like,
I have no idea.
yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyways. So, yes. Apparently, Naya prefers to play with Muppets than Barbie dolls. I like what I said. Then we go to the Miz in the ring with the Miz Taraj. Miz cuts a fantastic promo, like Miz always does, leading into Roman Reigns versus Dallas and Axel. A match that Roman wins, but they made him work for it. You know, they made it believable. They didn't just have him squash two guys, which is good, you know. And there's one thing that right now, see, I give Roman Reigns a lot of flack. I call him Cena 2.0, you know, Hogan 3.0. But there's one thing that Roman does that I will give him credit for above Cena and above Hogan. Roman doesn't forget where he's supposed to be hurt. Roman sells. Both Hogan and Cena had this tendency to, when they did their comeback, turn into Superman, and it's like nothing that happened during the match phases them at all. You know, oh, you've been working my knee for, 15 minutes. Oh, you know what? But it's fine now. That's John Cena for you. Interesting tidbit. You go back to WrestleMania 23, I believe it was, when John Cena defended the WWE title against Shawn Michaels. Cena pissed Michaels off because Michaels was working Cena's leg the whole match, and when it came time for Cena to make his comeback and get the win, he completely forgot that his leg had been being worked on. He didn't sell it at all. He turned into what we sarcastically refer to as Super Cena, where it's like, oh yeah, nothing you did to me for the first 20 minutes of this match hurt me at all. And I don't know why Cena sounded Irish. It doesn't matter. Long story short, Michaels was so irritated with Cena that he declined the handshake that was supposed to happen after the match. They were supposed to shake hands in the middle of the ring, and Michaels just started walking up the ramp. Cena actually followed him out of the ring to make the handshake happen, and there's caught it right on camera. If you read Michaels' lips, he just looks at him and goes, "Not today, kid," and walks away. Michaels was pretty annoyed with him, which is kind of funny. But so yeah, that's one thing Roman doesn't do. Roman will sell. Is he the best seller in the world? No, not at all. But at least he's selling. Okay, none of this Leo Rush, John Cena bullshit. So, in either case, Roman wins that match. All well and good. We are going to see Roman versus The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship at the Royal Rumble. Personally, I would like to see the Intercontinental Championship back on The Miz. The reason I say that is because I first off think The Miz is a fantastic Intercontinental Champion, and beyond that, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that we're going to get Brock versus Roman at WrestleMania for the Universal title. So therefore, the Intercontinental title has to come off Roman, anyways. You don't want to take it off of him. Too short a time before you put the Universal title on him. That being said, I figure, doing it at the Royal Rumble is a better idea than possibly doing it at Fastlane or Elimination Chamber, whichever one it is. It's better that way. Now, they're going to do what they want, obviously, that, but it makes more sense that way. And then, of course, we go to Jordan and Rollins in the locker room, and Rollins gives Jordan some crap. because for being his spokesperson. He tells him, "You're my tag partner, not my spokesperson." Uh, They're showing some footage from tryouts at the NXT Performance Center. Kind of missed doing the rolls. It was fun. Okay, so where was I? Yes. And then they made an announcement. Bill Goldberg will be the first inductee into the Hall of Fame. Good for Bill. I don't know who's going to induct Bill.
Son.
What?
His son.
Not sure, I'm not sure his son is ready for public speaking of that magnitude.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking more along the lines of Eric Bischoff. You make that face, but...
I don't like Eric.
Yeah, well, without Eric, there would have been no Goldberg.
Okay.
So, that's why I say Bischoff, is because, without Eric, there wouldn't have been a Goldberg. There wouldn't have been an undefeated streak. There wouldn't have been, that lifeline that WCW needed towards the end of their run before they got taken up. So, in either case, our main event: Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor, Jordan at ringside, and the club at ringside. The match, Rollins and Finn, is a good match. But about partway through, the bar's music hits and they come out. And the club actually chases off the bar when they come out, which was interesting because I found that surprising. I don't know why they would have gotten involved at all, because the bar wasn't out there for them. But to make a long story short, Seth Rollins still managed to pick up the win, and they went off, and Raw went off the air with Finn Balor doing his very best to convince us that he had suffered a concussion. Here on NXT, it looks like we're going to get a women's matchup. I don't know who this Aaliyah person is. And I don't know who she is. She does not look like she's dressed to compete, though. She looks like a cross between Mary Poppins and Jessica Rabbit.
She's wearing a pinup style.
Is that what they call that?
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, so to cover what happened with SmackDown, SmackDown opened up with the New Day coming out. And these two are starting off very physical. This is Lacey Evans versus Aaliyah. Oh, she got her by the ear. Grandma style. Come here, you little shit. Alright, so a New Day opens up SmackDown with a with Xavier Woods giving his speech about why he should be United States champion. If he'd spent more time training and less time giving speech writing, he might have actually beaten Jinder Mahal. But he didn't. Jinder Mahal beat Xavier Woods. And for those of you who are upset about that, I would ask you this for a second. Jinder Mahal was the WWE champion not very long ago. Okay? He is the WWE champion once removed. Did you really think they would book Xavier Woods to beat him? That's practically saying that Xavier Woods would be WWE championship material. And he not. So, like, it's, it makes sense. Okay? Xavier's athletic. He could put on a good match. But there was no way in hell he should beat Jinder. So this went the way it should. Jinder won his match. AJ Styles does an interview backstage with Renee where he decides to start calling Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn Cammy, which is mildly amusing. Would probably be more amusing to me if I was like 12, but it's not that funny. So, we then went into Bobby Roode versus Mojo Rawley, the final semifinals match for the United States Championship Tournament. Should not be of any surprise to anybody that Bobby Roode won that match. I mean, if not for nothing, if Xavier Woods is not WWE Championship material, you know damn well Mojo Rawley isn't. So that just is what it is. I mean, he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but he only won it because his little butt buddy from Massachusetts was there to help him. So it's not. And everybody cheered for that. Like, I didn't understand that. That made no sense. Lacey Evans picks up the win. Looks like somebody got their hair ripped out. I never understood the long hair thing. Like, I mean, obviously I understand the girls, like their long hair, but like, I'm talking about the guys actually. Like, what the hell is up with guys and the long hair? The last thing you want in a freaking fight is long hair. I mean, that's just another handle for somebody to grab a hold of. It doesn't make sense from a strategic standpoint. Oh no. She has a microphone. Why is she being booed?
Really?
She could be telling the truth. We don't know. Oh. So I got a little bit of backstory on this Shayna Blazer now. Former UFC fighter. Member of Ronda Rousey's little 4 horsewoman gimmick there. So I had heard rumors that some of them were looking to get into pro wrestling, get into the WWE. especially some rumors surrounding Ronda herself. But I was not aware until a couple of days ago when I was doing a little bit of research that Shayna Baszler was a UFC fighter. So, up and here comes Ember Moon for the save. Ember Moon is falling for it. See, Shayna came out and she locked Aaliyah in a chokehold, choked her out, and very brutally, leading to Ember being the quintessential baby face, which naturally means she's an idiot, to run out for the save. William Regal told Shayna that she would not get a shot at the the NXT Women's Championship with behavior like that. So naturally, Shayna's going to try and goat Ember Moon into challenging her because Ember Moon is the champion. Because if she can then beat Ember Moon, well, then you kind of have to give her a title shot because she beat the champion. So, like, it's very, very, very savvy, strategic. I don't know if we're talking a real fight, I would have to put money on the ugly one or the uglier one. So immediately after Bobby Roode defeated Mojo Rawley, the Singh brothers attacked Bobby Roode. You know, they're trying to get Jinder an advantage. And Jinder comes out on the microphone and he taunts Bobby, and Bobby gets on a microphone and he says that he wants to do it tonight. And Jinder says, no, do it when I want. And Daniel Bryan comes out and he makes the match for that night. Now, this is another example of Daniel Bryan abusing power in the favor of a heel. I can hear you scratching your heads. And no, I know that Bobby asked for it. I just said that. But Bobby's pissed off because he got jumped. Bobby's not thinking. Bobby is hurt and he just wrestled another match. A good general manager is going to protect Bobby even from himself and not give him what he asked for just because he wants it. So, even though the decision by Daniel Bryan actually favors Jinder Mahal, even though it wasn't what Jinder wanted. But Daniel Bryan made the match. Then we go into six man competitor. We have 6 competitor tag team action with Charlotte and Becky Lynch and Naomi taking on the Riot Squad. Oh. I'm going to be honest. I'm losing interest very, very, very fast. I just... This whole Riot Squad thing, like I said, I'm losing interest very fast. The Riot Squad picked up the win. I'm not impressed with Ruby Riott. I'm certainly not impressed with Liv Morgan. I think Sarah Logan's character is cool. She seems to be able to She seems to be able to go in the ring fairly well, but as long as she's saddled with the other two, I'm just not feeling it. So, but in either case, they can then get an interview with the Usos. Oh, and no, I don't believe that the DUI charge on Jey Uso is going to kill the Usos' push. I saw that comment on the internet, and it was like, seriously? Okay, it's not like he was all coked up with Charlie Sheen, okay? He had beers and was dumb enough to get behind the wheel of the car. So he got a ticket. Okay? With any luck, he won't do it again. I really don't think WWE is going to kill his push. So, that being said, while the Usos were giving their interview, they were jumped by Gable and Benjamin. Of course, Gable and Benjamin will be challenging the Usos at the Royal Rumble. And personally, myself, I like the Usos. I would like to see Gable and Benjamin get their hands on those tag team titles, so. And I think that will be the way it goes. So, Shane comes out. Shane comes out to be ringside with Daniel Bryan for the Jinder Mahal versus Bobby Roode for the U.S. title. And that was a good match. That was a great match. Jinder and Bobby put on a hell of a match. With an out-of-nowhere ending, with Bobby Roode picking up the win, becoming the new United States champion. I fully expect for Dolph Ziggler to show up at the Royal Rumble. If not at the Royal Rumble, then after the Royal Rumble. Actually, it could even be next week. He could show up. I expect him to show up. I expect him to show up with a brand new title design, and I expect him to say, wait a second, no, I'm the United States champion. And then we have Dolph versus Bobby at the Royal Rumble. That's what I fully expect to happen. I mean, I could be wrong. It's happened before. I like my chances, though. So, and then, while Johnny No Balls is screaming in the ring, I'm going to go ahead and talk about midgets on trampolines. So, midgets on trampolines. We start off with TJP, the petulant child who threw a temper tantrum after his loss last week, going one-on-one with Grand Metalik, the masked superstar who beat him last week. And beat him this week. And TJP threw another fit. He walked in the back, shoved everything off of a table, and started to cry. I wish I could say I was kidding. Interviewer walked up to interview him. She goes, TJP. And he looks at her and she goes, are you crying? He goes, no. Walks away. You know you're stretching when you start doing shit like that. Like, seriously, these are supposed to be grown men. These are supposed to be grown men.
Grown men can cry.
No, get done with this snowflake shit. No.
Grown men can cry.
No. Not in that situation. No, they can't. No. A death in the family, something substantial, a substantial loss. I can understand a man being moved to tears, but okay, somebody got one up on you. You got pinned. If you're gonna cry over that, you didn't belong in the ring in the first place. Oh. We then get a backstage promo from Jack Gallagher talking about Hideo Itami. I like Hideo Itami's work. I like Jack Gallagher's work. I look forward to seeing Hideo and Gallagher go at it again soon. I have not gotten any update on the Brian Kendrick. You know, the Brian Kendrick, of course, had his orbital bone shattered and his nose broken by Hideo Itami, and that's a shoot that he actually got fucked up pretty good. But after Gallagher's backstage promo, then we get a Cedric Alexander and Goldust promo. Poor Goldust. I mean, seriously, you're 6'5", 250 pounds, former United States champion, former Intercontinental champion, former multiple-time tag team champion. And you've just been relegated to the kiddie table. I feel bad for Goldust. I mean, that's gotta suck. You know, the writing was on the wall, and I wonder if Goldust isn't wondering if he should have left with his brother. But that being said, the Zo Train comes out and interrupts their promo. And the funny thing is, you know, for as great as they say Enzo is on the microphone, when you actually get somebody on the microphone talking back at him, he loses some of that luster. Because I mean, Goldust can cut a promo, and you know, Goldust actually did his best Joe Pesci, which we could have done without, quite honestly. You know, funny how, my clown, like I'm here to amuse you. It was not, could have been better. So, to make a long story short, Goldust then gets himself into a handicap match against Drew Gulak, Arya Daivari, and Tony Nese. And Goldust wins, which, again, I mean, I understand there's a substantial size difference there, but I gotta say, I don't really see a situation where 3-on-1 and the one wins. I mean, I don't really buy that. I mean, if you're talking about a Lars Sullivan or a Ryback or a Braun Strowman, you know, I could understand that one. But Goldust isn't a monster. He's a big guy, but he's not a monster. There's no real reason why he should be taking 3 grown men and beating all of them. I just find that to be a little, you know, a bit of a logic leap. So here on NXT, we are getting into our main event. We are getting the Street Profits, who I cannot stand, against AOP, who I think are fantastic. I'm going to try and be unbiased. I make you no promises. So this is a tag team match for the #1 contendership status. And there we have the lockup. And nice. I believe that's Razar. With a nice shoulder tackle. And there's a kip up from one of the Street Profits, the skinny one. I don't know their names. I don't want to know their names. So, it's Akam that's in the ring, not Razar. And Akam picking him out of the air. He's got him in the corner, and both members of AOP just clubbing on the back. Vicious knees from Razar. Nice full Nelson here from Akam. Gonna pop Ford's head like a zit. Oh, nice slam. 1, 2, and there's the kick out. I think the other guy on the Street Profits name is Dawkins. I'm not sure though. And Razar back in the ring now. So we got one more show, one more week before we get to the Royal Rumble. With any luck, I will be coming to you live during the Royal Rumble. As I said, as always, I cannot guarantee that at this moment, but that is what I'm shooting for. We're going to have to see how that goes. And AOP still in control. Nice front face lock there. Taking Ford down to his knees. And it's very smart the way Razar has positioned himself. He is in between Ford and Ford's partner. Ford trying to inch his way towards Dawkins, and Razor went after. Oh, an example of the faster Street Profits. Now Dawkins is cleaning house. He's a legal man. And now Montez Ford with that drop kick, going for the pin. 1, and Akam breaks it up. And here we go. Super Collider. And final chapter. 1, 2. All right. AOP will be facing the Undisputed Era. Oh, excuse me, at TakeOver for the NXT Tag Team titles. Alright guys, that is it for tonight. I'll be coming at you again next week with another recap as well as a live NXT. Next week I will also be taking the time to go over predictions as to what will happen, what should happen, what could happen at the Royal Rumble event. Which will be not this upcoming Sunday, but next Sunday. So until then, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, always remember that I am Ken Carnage, and Carnage is right around the corner.